Hey, welcome back to the channel. Got a few things on the table today, and we're going to have a fascinating video. Absolutely enthralling. You guys are going to really enjoy it. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a video like Stan did on Stan's Cutlery Universe. On Monday, he put a video out. He was talking about stuff from his youth. Basically, that's what he was talking about. I think he was just feeling kind of sentimental, but it was very interesting. And so I decided to put one together to support Stan. And I think you're going to find it very, very interesting. So I hope you stick around a little bit. And it's going to be a really nice ride back in time. And you're really going to enjoy it. All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi to all my viewers. Thank you so much for checking this out. I think it's going to be a little funny because I'm kind of a funny guy when I let myself be funny. And there's definitely going to be some funny things in this video, but also some pretty interesting things, I think. And, you know, I got this idea from Stan. I'm going to support him, throw it out there, see where it goes. But I was born in 1959, March 18th, 1959. This is a Schrade Walden, and it was not given to me, but this dates to my birthday year, 1959. It's a medium jack. Oh, there you go. It's a medium jack. Pretty nice little knife. Good, robust springs on this one. A lot of times they're lazy coming back from that far away. Some pretty good geometry on it. Pretty cool. But this would have been the knife that people were carrying around. Something like this back in 1959. Notice the black synthetic scales on it. And an unusual peach seed. So Schrade's peach seed in the 60s kind of looks more like a peach seed. And this just kind of looks like a section of the peach seed. It's kind of vertical. If you have one of these and you're wondering, you know, how old that knife hails from, around the 50s, right? I think this pattern is really a later version, like from 55 up to 60 is kind of what I'm feeling about it. But anyhow, that's my birth knife right there. And I have one of the problems is when you're trying to look at stuff from the past, is the vast majority of us don't have anything from the past. And I mean, Stan was talking about 12, 14 years old, most of the stuff he talked about. But I'm not going to show you my teddy bear or my blankie from 1959 or 1960 because I don't have it. And the reason is I'm a parent, I have grandchildren, and if you're a parent, you work really hard at getting rid of all that stuff. And so that's why we don't have that stuff, most of us. Now, some of us do. Some have like sanctuary bedrooms where all your stuff from your past is still kept by your parents. But yeah, most parents want to get rid of that crap and they want to get rid of you as fast as they can. And I was no different. And so I do have some stuff like my coin collection. I had a massive coin collection and a really good one. Came into some financial hardship around 2001, 2002, 2003, and I decided to go ahead and sell it, but I kept some. So that's what's in this box right here. And this box is not part of my childhood. Found it in a antique store, and this is a case for a magnetometer, and this case dates back to the 1920s. But I've taken some of the coins I kept and put them in this case. We'll look at them when we get to them. And coins are always pretty cool. I love to have coins with knives because when you look at this knife, if you're looking at a 1920 knife, it kind of looks like this. And if you look at a knife today, it kind of looks like this. And knives really haven't changed that much. And so that coin really lets you know how things has changed. This is from 1922. And it just radically different from anything you're used to if you've never seen one of these old coins. But yeah, they're cool. And so let's get into it. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but there's a reason why. And so let's look at them. Okay, so here is a picture of me. That is me mowing the lawn or pretending to mow the lawn. And this is my next door neighbor. And it's 1960. So I'm 1 year old here. Maybe it's August 1960. I'm a year and a half old. And man, what a looker. Can you see that? But notice the background. And I have never noticed this before. But if you look in the background, there's a honey checking me out. Even back then when I was 1.5 years old, the babes just couldn't resist me. Look at that. Yeah, isn't that funny? Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. This is a third grade picture of me. And let me see, I don't have a pointer. Let me get a pointer real quick. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, we use a knife pointer. Okay, yeah, so that's my third grade class there. And over here you can see a person with a humongous head. That's me. I had a big head. Look at the size of my head in relation to even bigger kids, right? It was massive. I had a massive head. It's kind of funny. This is when I was in 7th grade, right there, which would have been, I think, 73. No, would have been 1969, maybe. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Anyhow, it was when I was in 7th grade, and this is me in 9th grade getting ready to go off to high school. This would have been 73, 74. Picture of me right there. And so, yeah, pretty cool, huh? All right, I got a couple more pictures to show you. This is me when I am 6 years old. You can't really see me there. I'm on a tricycle, but that's what I don't care about. What I want you to look at is this truck right here. And so this is 1965. This truck is a 1947 Chevy panel truck. You don't see them with the windows up here very much, but this one had a window, and this roof rack was, my dad put ladders on it. He was painting at this time, and so he put ladders on it. And these panel trucks look kind of similar up until the 60s, but you can tell it's a 47 by the separate headlights right here. If you can see that, it's a separate headlight. And up there in the picture, you can see that's a 1947. And then the other picture there, that's a 1950. So by 1950, they had incorporated the headlight into the bumper here. But I had a rail here, and we used to go out to the Everglades to steal things like corn and strawberries. And so on the border of the Everglades, there were all these massive fields. They're still out there, but most of that area where we used to do this is all houses now. So Miami grew out. And we take this truck, and we would hang on the side of this, okay? So I'm 6 years old, and my sister, you'll see her in a minute. Let's see, that's my goofy sister right there. And so my dad had 3 kids. We would get on top of this rack up here, and he'd drive down these really dusty dirt roads So back in those days, not all the roads were paved. They're still not paved. You go to places in the country, especially out west, and there's roads that aren't paved. But we used to hang on those up there on that rack, and man, it was a blast. And you couldn't get away with that now, could you? Isn't that funny? And then there's my goofy sister. But what's really cool is look what's in the background. That's a 56 Bel Air. And look at that baby. White wall tires, solid mag wheel in the back. And I can't remember this car at all. I remember this because we had a lot of fun on it. I can't remember this car at all, but my dad was always telling me how he souped it up and it was really fast. And he was always really, really proud of that. And then I wanted to show you these pictures here. My dad, oftentimes you hear me call him an avid fisherman. Really, he was a psychotic fisherman. So he would fish every single chance he got. And right here we have about 12 trout, really nice trout that we caught down in the Keys. And this is a 25-pound barracuda right there. And that's me holding it because I caught that barracuda. But I got really mad because my dad wanted me to take a picture of him and this barracuda. And I knew what he was going to do. He was going to run around and show that Polaroid picture to people and say, look at this barracuda I caught. And it was me that caught it. And so, yeah, I can remember being really mad at that picture back then. So this was my family. And look, this is my stepmother. So my dad was divorced and remarried. This is my stepmother. This is the stepdaughter. And this is me, my younger sister, and my older sister. And that's my dad. And you can see I'm snazzy. Yeah. But look at her face. Doesn't she look like a witch? I mean, she just like, ooh. Yeah, poor dad. It didn't work out anyhow. So he ended up getting divorced from her. So the really cool things I want to show you here. Let me zoom out. You know what? I'm gonna move this. So this is the Miami News, and it's dated November 22nd, 1963. I was 4 years old, and you can see the headlines, Kennedy slain. And I've saved this. Obviously, I didn't get a hold of this because I was only 4 years old when Kennedy was assassinated. My dad must have kept this paper for a while, but I know when I went into the Marine Corps in 1979, I kept this paper, and so maybe he was thinking about throwing it away. But isn't that something else? You got a paper from the day Kennedy was slain, and I have really vivid memories of that. So I'm an old fart. I'm really old. But even at 4, this memory dominates my memory because all day long we had this little tiny black and white TV that sat on a console, and I was the remote control. So whenever somebody was watching a show, it was, Mike, move those antenna around, move those elephant ears around. Yeah, right. Hold it right there. And so I would end up by the TV just holding this antenna so everybody else could watch TV. But all day long on that little black and white TV, it was nothing but this. And it just burned into my memory. And the funny thing is, I was telling my wife that I was going to do this video, and she said, I remember it too. She goes, I was only 3, but the same thing. It was like all day long on TV, and you just kept waiting for your cartoons. Like, why are the cartoons not coming? Here's another one. August 9th, 1974. Probably most of you don't know anything about this, but Nixon resigns. So Nixon had a landslide victory, and there is the crooked fellow there. He's very famous for getting in front of the camera and saying, "I'm not a crook. I'm not a crook." But it was from Watergate, and he had conspired with a few of his friends to tap the phone lines of the Democratic National Committee during the campaign. Those guys got caught, and it was called Watergate. They were breaking into the Watergate hotels, and this was really big news. And he was a successful enough president, but it was so scandalous that he ended up having to be resigned. They had congressional hearings about it, and that was a big deal. And just think about what happened to President Trump, where they fabricated information on him. They tapped his phones during an election, and all the stuff that was arrayed against him. And look how just tapping a phone, right? Nixon had to resign, but nothing's really happening over, them trying to commit a coup on President Trump. So here, it's 1977. So I am 17 years old. Snow in Miami. Have you ever heard about this? It was crazy. And in Miami, we don't have heavy jackets. So you had what I used to call stadium jackets. So a light football jacket, that's good to about 50 degrees, not really good at 40, but it was 20 degrees in Miami and it snowed. And the snow, I'm not kidding, was as big as my hand. Huge snowflakes falling. And not a lot. So there was a dusting, but it was really big news. And I kept that. I was wise enough to keep that, and I've kept it all these years. What else I got? Let's look. All right. So this is my letter from junior high, and I wrestled and was a first string wrestler in junior high, and also played football in junior high. And this is my letter from that. And this is my high school letter. So in high school, I just wrestled. And they tried to get me to go out for football, but I was like, nah, I'm just going to concentrate on this. And I was rated third in the state of Florida. So I was a good wrestler. I did well. I won medals. I've got those medals, but I don't know where they were. And I didn't want to take the time to pull them out, but I have some medals, that I won in tournaments. And I don't know why I keep that stuff, but I still got it. Through all these years, all the traveling, all the different places I've lived throughout my military career, I kept all of that stuff. And this is my military, pretty much all I got left of the military. I got my expert badge for shooting, expert badge for rifle. So I took the range a couple times. I have an article where they talked about how I was one of the highest scorers on the range. And they talked to me about becoming they asked me if I wanted to become a sniper. And at that time, I didn't want to. Later on, I actually wanted to, and they wouldn't let me. But these are my ribbons on there. This is a Navy Achievement Medal. I don't know where my other ones are. They're laying around somewhere. These are my dog tags. I wore these every day. Every now and then you hear a guy talk about this right here. I forget the designation of it. It's a P. Man, I can't remember what this is. Tell me what this is. A P249 or 279? We used to call them John Wayne's, and they're really light, but you open cans with them. And, you know, I went in the military when they still used shields, and had the Gladius for a weapon. And we opened sea rats is what it was. We didn't have, when, at least when I first went in, they didn't have the meals ready to eat, the MREs, and so we carried these around to open up the sea rat cans that they'd been using since World War II. And I actually think those cans were from World War II because they certainly tasted like that. But yeah, the MREs are a lot better. And there's my dog tags. So just cool stuff. You know, I just kind of keep. I don't have a lot of stuff from the military. This is a tournament I was in. That's 425-pound deadlift. And I weighed 165 pounds when I was doing that. That's what I weighed there. 165 pounds. And there's my reserve. My reserve thing. Cover that over. But yeah, so I got that kind of cool stuff. I do have a lot of pictures from the military. And then this stuff, these coins, I couldn't tell you which one, and maybe even none of them, right? But when I sold my collection, I just kept a few, you know, just to keep my foot in the coins. This is a silver dollar, but I started collecting coins. This is a Barber dollar, 1896. What's the back of that look like? It's pretty. I love the patina on that. Here's another one, 1895, Franklin coin. But I started collecting them when I was 10 years old, and I didn't get rid of that coin collection until around 2003, something like that. But I kept these, and I also have a bunch of foreign coins. But that's really cool, and that's what I spent a lot of time doing, is collecting coins, and I continue to do that, you know, most of my life. And then I sold these, and finally started collecting knives, and so that's why I have all these knives you see on the video. This is a silver Jefferson. Silver coins have the mint on the nickel. They have the mint mark up here, so that's a Philadelphia mint. These coins have them down here. So there's a mint mark there. I don't know what it is. Probably an S, which is a San Francisco mint. But anyhow, these are all silver, you know. So that's silver right there. You can see there's no copper. It's just silver. These are all silver coins. Liberty Bell. So pretty cool stuff. And the only knife I have from my youth is this one right here. My dad gave it to me when I was 16 years old. So this is from 1976 buck right here. And I used the crap out of this knife. I retired it about 10 years ago, and got some different knives for hunting, but still in just rock solid shape. And I've carried this knife pretty much all over with me. It's a buck 120, and just as good as the day as I, you know, got it brand new. Don't look that way, but I haven't cleaned this up either, right? So I just leave it in a used condition, and my dad gave it to me. So that's important to me. And hope you enjoyed the video. Before I close, I want to show you some other things. These are cufflinks now. You don't see that very often anymore, but men used to wear cufflinks, and they'd put them in the ends of their shirts, kind of just to be flashy, right? And my dad was so proud of these. These were L for Lathrop. And when he decked out and put that tie on, these always were with them. And when he passed away, you know, I grabbed them and kept them. So hope you enjoyed the video. I thought those newspapers would be really interesting, and also the fact that the impact that those events have on your mind, that you never, you know, forget that stuff, is just incredible. But it's kind of amazing you have anything at all. And that's what's so amazing about these knives, is almost everything you have from the past is gone. You don't have any record of it, maybe a photograph, but usually we don't have pieces like this. My dad didn't carry a knife, so I think that's why he never gave me a pocket knife. A lot of guys, you know, can show you the pocket knife that they got when they were 10 years old and used and carried around, but you know, my dad didn't carry a pocket knife, strangely enough, and I didn't get a pocket knife for a long, long time. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it funny, and you know, it's funny to look at those old pictures. It's hilarious. Anyhow, thanks for coming along and walking down the dusty past of time there with me.